Yeah, absolutely. We're going to be definitely looking out on lap one for turn 1 through 3. It's a very common place for incidences. Yeah, it's just a tough set of corners to get through with multiple cars. In my SWT race, though, on lap one, we actually managed everyone to get through it. So if we can, I'm sure these guys are able to. Turn 4 as well. After the first few corners, there's a little straight, and then that next corner right after that is a high-speed, 90-degree left-hander where if you go too wide through there, there's a huge likelihood that someone's going to get pushed off and track limits.
So is Ken Missouri, is he the steward today, or?
Yes, he is our live steward. So anything he says go. If there's an incident that's massive at the beginning of the race, he is the only one who has the authority to call a red flag and race restart. No matter what anyone else in the chat may say.
Yeah, of course. That's what they're there for. Someone's got to make the decision. It's a lot on someone's shoulder, but I'm sure each and every one of you would not want to be that person to a certain extent, you know. But there has to be someone that calls out for these incidences, and if it's caused a lot of hassle, obviously the red flags will be pulled out. But until then, you just got to carry on, and make the most of it. There's 53 laps, so at the end of the day, there's plenty of time to get back into the race. You know, there's lots of stuff that can happen during the race as well. So let's just keep going and keep fighting and make the most of it. As you can see, Lucian now has put in a 111 as well, or is that his previous? So there's a couple of guys, so it's Connor and Lucian into the 111 so far. Everybody else in the 12s and the 13s. And not a lot between them, but obviously I think lap times on the previous round, there was a good 6 or 7 possibly within, I think it was about half a second, wasn't it? B23? Yeah. So that was very close qualifying racing, that's for sure.
It was extremely close, and it looks like it's going to be extremely close this time too, as we got multiple guys in the 111s already. And
yeah,
shout out to Jesse and Artura in the chat. See you guys. Welcome to the race. Thanks for watching.
So, as I said before, you know, I find myself half decent at super formulas. I've been doing it, racing super formulas for a good 4 or 5 years now, and so I can put in some good laps, you know. But 111s, I mean, I was doing 114.5s, 115s maybe all week, and I was thinking, how the hell are you into the 111? So, if you think that you are fast enough, then you know, you're probably not, because like I said before, these guys are the top of the top in the super formulas, and so, you know, hats off to them at the end of the day. Then they spend a lot of time tuning and putting in plenty of practice during the week or 2 weeks before the race. So this is these are top times. 111s are super fast, so hats off to them, like I said before.
Yeah, my SW 15.5. Like super
that is a good time as well. That is a good time.
And so, because that was like my fastest lap too that I had ever done to that point, so I was very happy with it. It put me, I think, P4 or 5, P4 actually, and so that just goes to show you how fast these guys are. Several seconds faster.
100%. That is impressive. So it's medium tires are required today, is that correct?
Like the same as normal? I believe so. At least in our class, it's only the medium that's required. I'll double check the briefing right now, but I'm pretty sure only the mediums are required.
That's fine. So looking at the qualifying at the moment, you have Whiteout, who is leading the pack. Nuko in second, and Comer with the third fastest time so far. Lucian's been pushed down to P4 as it stands, so all in the 111s now, I think. The top 4 or 3, no, it must be top 4, yeah, 5, It's quite a few there. They're definitely close together now. These times are leveling up with each other. So as
Yeah.
you can see, even Keckwood pumping out some fast laps now as well. So this is good to see.
Yeah, and just to confirm real quick that only the medium tire is required for, but they'll be doing the vast majority of the running on the soft tire. As from my testing and experience and just observations, I think the mediums are anywhere between 1.5 to 2 seconds slower per lap than the soft tire.
That's good to know. That is good to know.
And we got D-Goats here as well, as seemingly a little out of position. Usually he qualifies a bit higher, so it makes me think that he hasn't quite put together a representative lap as of yet. But then again, it's hard to tell. These guys are blazingly fast out here right now.
Definitely. So it looks like the final lap has come on the qualifying stage. So at the moment, you've got Whiteout in P1 and Nuco P2 and Comer in P3. Can anybody else put in a fast lap to finish off? Not 100% sure they can, but as it stands, Whiteout is going to be leading the pack on pole. So let's finish off. Couple still halfway round, so there might be some changes in this qualifying lineup.
Oh yeah, Illusion's on the fast lap. So we can see if Illusion can improve his position from 4th on the grid, which is a good starting grid position at least. People say that starting on pole is actually a bit of a disadvantage, given that it's on the, I believe, on the right side of the track, which kind of puts you at a disadvantage into the first few corners.
So he's just coming across the finish line now. Can he put in a faster lap? He's put himself into P3 to start off, so excellent work there from Lucian. He's just pushed Comer down into P4 to start off with, but Whiteout has taken pole, Nuco second, and Lucian in P3 to start with. So nice lap there, Lucian.
Indeed. So the top 3 are going to be the usual suspects, and it's anyone's race out of the first corner. Here's your qualifying results here real quick. Whiteout with another excellent pole position with a 1:11.5. Absolutely ridiculous. And there's about a tenth per car after that for the first few. So very tight qualifying even still.
Yeah, definitely. So even up to the top 6 there, 6/10 of a second, well, 7, 8. Yeah, you could go to the top 8 even within 7/10 of each other. So they're still pretty close together. That's only 1 or 2 corners just slightly quicker than each other. So not a lot in it at all. So the strategy will obviously come into play. So let's see what they come up with, these guys. But yes, congratulations, Whiteout taking pole, Nuco second, and Lucian on third. The race is going to be starting pretty soon, I'm pretty sure.
Yep, and so while they're setting up for the race, I'm just going to post the pole position graphic to the league's Instagram account. So be sure to go give that a follow and check that out. That is at Grand Prestige League on Instagram. And while you're here, go ahead and give us a like and subscribe on this YouTube channel as well, because we're going to be here every week with good racing.
Definitely, yeah. Give everybody a like and subscribe. You know, it all helps the cause. You get to watch some fantastic top split Super Formula League racing as well, so please do that. Obviously check out my channel as well, which is KZN Hop House. Much appreciated. Like and subscribe always helps the cause for everybody. So we all do our best, me and B23, to co-commentate with each other. So yes, that will be wonderful. Everybody looks like they're just telling each other they're ready to start this race, so won't be long before we can kick off round 4 of the GPL WEC League Super Formulas. Let's see what this can bring us.
All the drivers giving us the ready signal.
Good luck, everybody. Good luck.
Yeah, now's
Meetings
the
are
time, by the
recorded.
way. Let us know who you're rooting for in the chat, drivers or teams that you're rooting for. It's going to be a chaotic start, perhaps. It's a tricky track known for its battling.
I'm sure we're definitely going to see a bit of that.
And it looks like we're about to start. All right, and the cars are on the grid. We got Whiteout from pole position. Lights are on.
And it's green and they're off. And Whiteout has an excellent start here, straight into T1. Round the chicane,
Luke
holding
and
their position
Nuco
there.
battling it out.
Lujan side by side, Nuco coming into turn 3. Looks like Lujan's going to take him on the outside. Nuco's held that well.
And Comer is looking in to get a piece of that too now. Whiteout must be loving what's going on behind him right now, as he's benefiting massively from them compromising their racing lines here.
Early battling from these 3 in P2, 3 and 4, Lujan and Nuco. Like I said before, Whiteout obviously being able to just pull away just slightly just because of those 3 behind him battling out, which, as B23 said, he's going to be enjoying that. Coming down the long straight after lap 1 just ending. Still the top 3, Whiteout, Nuco and Lujan. Comer still in the mix in P4. D-Goat's down in the P5. Looking like he's catching up with Comer. Ghosted doing really well in P6 as it stands. Looks like Ketwood dropped a place or 2 there.
Yeah, and, I think it's going to probably be a tight battle between Keck and Ghosted here. Given the teams around these guys are going to be direct rivals for this race, and whatever their finishing position is might make the difference in the constructors.
So it looks like DB8's obviously gone
already.
into the pit, so there must have been some sort of damage there, which is not good for DB8, but keep battling in that race. Anything can happen here, but that's not the start that DB8 wanted. Whiteout now 1.2 seconds clear of Nuco. No changes in the top 3 so far. Comer's still keeping it tight with D-Goats less than a second behind him. Ghosted still hanging on there, doing really well. Ketwood in the mix as well. So still pretty damn close between these guys.
Yeah, about a second between the top few cars here, and that's a huge margin for these guys, as we saw last race at Catalunya. Whiteout was within half a second of Illusion almost the entire race, and that race finished with less than a tenth of a second between them. So getting a 1 second gap out on the very first lap is going to benefit him huge for the rest of this race.
100%. Still nicely.
Given that these guys are not prone to mistakes on their own very often.
Looks like a nice even gap between everybody here, probably within half a second to a second, so no crazy incidences at the start. Obviously DB8, something happened to him, which he obviously pitted to repair any damage that he had, so he's got some work to do there. But everybody else holding their position as it stands.
Just kind of going through the order real quick, looking at the tires everyone's on, and it looks like everyone, for the most part, is on softs, except for Pixel, Beretta, both of the high caliber cars, and Sequema in that Mugen car is also on medium. He also has damage and is into the pits. It seems to be like this every week for these this Team Mugen cars here. Every week it seems they have just a huge spell of bad luck right in the beginning. They take some damage early, have to pit early, and it compromises their whole race. You guys can't catch a break, it seems.
No, it's very unfortunate. Obviously, further down the line, luck might change for them, but as it stands, very unfortunate. They're not having the best of starts, but staying in the race, anything can happen, like we said. Commer's doing really well, keeping on the tail of Lujan, trying to keep in his toe here. It's not letting him drift away from him, whilst pulling away from Decoach just about as well. So nice little gap. He's managed to lose the toe range. So Commer's doing really well here, but everywhere else seems just about that second between spreading out. Commer's looking like he's going for the overtake here to take that P3 position off Lujan. Lujan's defending really well into T3.
There's the squeeze, a little bit of contact.
That was a bit of a squeeze, wasn't it?
Yeah. And Comer is all over his overtake. He wants that position badly. They're wheel to wheel. Went through the fast part. And then in for the tight hairpin now, the slow part. Those some very good overtaking opportunities in those corners, and Illusion did well to just stay ahead. Really good car position.
I mean, was that
Exo Aston Martin as wide as possible?
Did look quite a squeeze from Lujan now. That, you know, I wouldn't have liked that personally myself, but you know, is what it is. Nothing came about of it, but he defended obviously pretty damn well there. But Commer still using his overtake. He definitely wants that P3 position early doors.
Yeah, and I do think that having good track position early on in the race is going to benefit you strategically throughout the rest of the laps here. And I think most people kind of have that idea, given that almost everyone started this race on softs.
Oh, quite possibly something's happened to Saikoma, because he's now down in last position, so maybe Saikoma had to pit as well.
Yeah, he did take a pit stop for damage.
Okie dokie. Right, I'm going to leave you in the hands of B23. I have to disappear just momentarily, and I will be back shortly.
Yeah, and it is too bad for Sequema as well, because I think of him as a very highly rated driver. Personally, I got to watch him all last season in SWT, and he was constantly one of the top guys. So hopefully by the time, at some point in the season, he can show his skills, because he's definitely got them. He's just had a really good spell of bad luck lately. Yeah, and so Illusion had lost a bit of time from battling with Comer there. Lost about maybe half a second, a little more than that. We got D-Goats closing back in as well on Comer. Just kind of take a look down the order, see if anyone's close to each other. Okay, so I'll monitor this engagement here. It looks like this is going to be the closest thing we got. And Comer's still on his overtake. He's already used half of his overtake for the whole race. fact, let's go on board with a couple of these guys to get a sense of the speed and what they're doing here. And we see D-Goat sticking with Comer at about the same gap and has used much less overtake, about a quarter of his overtake. Still using a good amount though. That corner that we just saw D-Goats do right there is extremely sensitive when it comes to dirty air. So if the following car is within about this gap right here, there's going to be a huge amount of turbulent air coming off of the back of the car. And you'll lose probably about up to 50% of your downforce going into a corner when you're in that turbulent air. And so you get a massive amount of understeer. But D-Goats is definitely a top driver, and you wouldn't even have been able to tell really, because he kept his rotation perfectly as it needed to be. Oh man, and that was a good line there from D-Goats, but he took a little bit too much curb at the end and got a little squirrely. Now at this track, you want to use every single little bit of track you have available to you, and that means running wide over these curbs. And on the exit curbs, when you get back on the throttle and you're on the curb, it's extremely easy to have a tire slip on you. We see we're back here with Whiteout in P1, just seeing what his onboard looks like, and he's maintaining about a 1.2 second gap from the very first lap of this race, and that gap has stayed steady this whole time. Nuco doing a great job keeping pace with him. Then we got Illusion behind Nuco at about 2 seconds. Jesse, traction is key, and it is extremely hard to maintain traction with these cars. They are so powerful that you get on the gas and the power delivery is so immediate the tires will slip on you. So precise throttle control is so important. The rate at which you go from 0 to 100 has to be precise and fast, but not too fast. Back to the old cinematic cam here. We'll take a look down the grid and see who we got. Alright. So it looks like Kekwed and Ghosted here's got a pretty steady gap between them, and Kekwed seems to be on his overtake, so he's looking to close this gap here if he can. Similar tire usage here between these two. Now this is about the point where these tires are going to start losing a bit of performance. Between laps, let's say 3 and now-ish, they were in their prime operating window, but now the tires are going to start to get a little overheated. The rate of wear is going to increase as well, and the traction is going to go away. And so, same with the lap times. Once they hit this drop-off phase with the soft tire, the lap times are going to start to go away by about a whole second per lap, and that can be devastating. So here in the next few laps, we're going to start to see the pit windows begin to open up a little bit, and then the strategic variation will come into play. But seeing as how most of these guys are starting on the soft, I would assume that most of them are on relatively similar strategies. The pit windows varying probably by only a few laps between them, depending on who wants to go for the over and undercuts. Being as how they're all on soft tires at the moment, the undercut would be favored. And for those of you new to racing, The undercut is performed when both of these guys are on worn tires right now, so they're lapping at about a second slower than they normally would. So whoever pits first and comes out on new tires, for the amount of laps that they're on new tires while the other person stays out, will be undercutting them by about a second per lap until they come into the pits. And so the idea is that in between those pit windows, you've gained enough time on the new tire that by the time they pit, you actually come out ahead of them and have overtaken them in the pits. I'm sure that may seem obvious, but we have a good mixed audience here of people, very experienced racers themselves and non-racers alike. So shout out to everyone in the audience who is interested in this. Keckwed's still on his overtake, trying to close the gap, but the gap is still about the same. See if Ghosted not really using too much overtake here, but he does have the benefit of that clean air. Keckwed is right about in the range where the dirty air will affect his downforce. If he were maybe a little bit closer, then he'd have the benefit of the slipstream on the straight, but he's just far away enough that all he's getting is turbulent wake. You can almost think of these things like jet skis with the way that they displace the air behind them and the wake behind them. If you get right into their wake perfectly, then there's much less air resistance. But if you are just behind that, all the turbulence will disturb your aero. Especially through this second and third sector here of the track, the dirty air is devastating. Since this gap is maintaining, I'm going to take a look around. Okay, steady gaps up front as well, but it looks like Nuco has taken about 1/10, 2/10 or so out of that lead. And their tires are kind of similar. Whiteout's is slightly better, and now Whiteout beginning to use a tiny bit of that overtake. I think he noticed that the gap came down a little bit, so he immediately got on the overtake to recover that gap. And at this point in the race, this is just sheer management from Whiteout. All he has to do is manage his resources, being his tires and his overtake, and he's doing a great job so far. Not needing to have to use any of it so far, just driving in clean air. But you gotta wonder about these tires now, as they're starting to get a little lower. Nuco, known for his kind of extreme driving style, which tends to be a little bit hard on the tires, actually doing a great job of maintaining his tire wear right now, as they're about the same as Whiteout's. I would say that Illusion's front, or Nuco's front left is a little bit more worn, but it's not a big deal because it actually is evened out the tire wear between all four of his tires, which helps with stability. Some of these tracks, if the tire wear is a bit lopsided as they get pretty severe, it gets really difficult because the whole turn-in characteristics of the car change as the tires get unbalanced. And Nuco back on the overtake, but just a little bit. He seems to be using just a little bit of overtake on the exits of these corners, and not he's not just standing on the overtake. So good overtake management as well. And another good gap there to Illusion, who seems to just be running his own race in P3 at the moment. And with the pace from him and the two ahead of him being very similar, I'm sure he's got to be wondering now what he can do to recover this pace, perhaps with some strategic variation. And I know with working with Illusion on strategies that he's a very smart, on his feet kind of thinker, and he will completely switch his race strategy mid-race if he sees an opportunity to recover some time by switching it. Because normally these top three guys are so similar in pace that they want to just cover each other's strategies off to nullify the strategic differences in the total race time. But here, I would think the gap is big enough with Illusion that he might want to try something new. Yeah, and so the lap times are down about a whole second at this point on these tires, but I do believe that they're going to still try to get the very most out of these tires they possibly can, because even though the worn soft tire is about a second slower per lap than new softs, the new medium is close to 2 seconds slower than the new soft. So, and we got two coming into the pits now, Illusion and Comer, and we got Keckwed coming into the pits as well, as Ghosted chooses to stay out and inherits the P3. So we're going to see what tires they choose to switch to here. It's a long race, so they could switch to either the soft or the medium. I'm assuming that most of these guys are going to want to end the race on soft. So I believe that most of these guys are probably going to choose to take the medium tire on one of these middle stints here. Illusion picking the soft tire, while Comer goes for the medium. And so the gap at this point is still the same between these two as they come out of the pits. And so we saw for the first 16 laps of them running how their gap between them was pretty close and stayed like the same. But now that we see a tire difference between these two, this is going to show just how big of a difference between these two tires there really are, as we can expect Illusion to start to pull away now from Comer. And Whiteout, seeing the writing on the wall there, he goes into the pits probably to cover off Illusion. Just as I was saying, he does not want Illusion on brand new softs to be doing too many laps while he's still on worn softs, because he was going to be cutting that gap down tremendously. So Whiteout choosing to cover that strategy off and come out of the pits also on a brand new set of soft tires. We got Boita here in P4 on his first set of softs still, and he's doing a great job with managing the tire wear, as he's still at around 50% with these tires. He's got a bit longer he can go. And I think that just from managing the tires really well on that first stint, he's benefiting massively right now. So anyone that switched to the medium right now, he is in the process of overcutting any medium runner. And then we got our top two now pits, and we're going to see how big of a difference that him staying out an extra 2 laps has made. I believe he will have been undercut at least to some degree. Maybe not for a position, but I would assume in gap. Oh, definitely. Yeah, definitely. So just as I was explaining with the undercut, that's exactly what Illusion just pulled off. He took out a whole 2 seconds out of Nuco by pitting 2 laps earlier, and now he's trying to make a move here on Boita. And this is actually pretty detrimental for both of these drivers to be behind Boita, because Boita is not in net P2 because he still has yet to pit. And so that was not a battle for position for Boita. So he cost them a little bit of time from the leader. I believe that is Hop House back.
I am back, yes. I do apologise to do something, unfortunately, but we are back and just having a quick look. I'm sure B23 has filled you in with all the information that you need, but let's have a look for myself, see what changes have happened in the meantime. Looks like Boyta's got up to 4th position. I don't know what happened to Comma and Keckwood.
So
anything you need to fill me in?
Yeah,
Pit
so
stops.
the first round of pit stops have happened, and there was some differences between the pit timing that they all went in, and Illusion made me look really smart as I was explaining how the undercut works, and just as I was doing that, he provided a great demonstration of how the undercut works by undercutting Nuco.
Wow.
So Illusion came in first. The next lap, Whiteout decided to come in to cover that off, and then the lap after that is when Nuco came in, and Illusion jumped him in the pits.
Superb. So Boyta's yet to pit and taking it.
Exactly. Boita went up to P2 just from not pitting yet, and so he is not in net position in P4 right now, but he is doing a great job with those tires, making them last.
Yeah, he's still got a little bit of tread there left. So, but Comma looks like he's in the toe of Boita now.
Yeah, and Comer on mediums, but I'm assuming that with how worn those softs are, that yeah, Comer has the advantage and the overtake is complete. And these medium tires too, they can go for an extremely long time, but they are slow enough that these guys are going to do the shortest possible amount of running on the medium tire to make the race work. They're going to do just enough to make their soft tire windows viable, and they're going to get off of these mediums as quickly as possible, is what I'm guessing. Unless, of course, they're going for a really, really long strategy here, which I don't think would be the good strategy to be on.
No. DBH just got himself back up into P10, taking Breda. Breda in semi-worn medium tyres, back down into P11 now. Flair and Aces looks like he's obviously pitted. He's on the fresh mediums, so he'd be trying to gain those positions back once some of these guys in front of him decide to pit eventually. There we go. Boyta's just entered the pits now.
Here he goes. Oh yeah, that bottom right of Boyta's soft tire is starting to get worn pretty severely, because as I mentioned, once they hit a certain point of wear, the rate of wear increases as well.
Yes, and the risk factor is just not worth. You do not want to be making any mistakes just because of the tire wear, that's for sure. So now Whiteout has got himself a commanding lead of a 4.3 second ahead of Lugion, both on the same tyres as it stands. That's a nice healthy lead that Whiteout will be definitely pleased about.
Yeah, absolutely. And Whiteout benefited massively from the pitting gaps, as Illusion and Nuco both came out right behind Boita on the worn softs out of position. And so they spent a little bit of extra time they would not want to spend trying to get past Boita. And that also benefited Whiteout. So Whiteout having the perfect position to just benefit from anything that happens behind him.
Definitely. Well, with Whiteout and Lugion both on soft tyres, and then the third and fourth position, Nuco and Comma, both on the medium tyres, and D-Goats actually, so all of them still doing pretty well on the mediums to stay with the two front runners on the soft tyres. So obviously when it's their time to go mediums, if they can keep within a decent time range, then they could obviously come back into the mix. But we shall see how it all pans out.
Right, your top two on the soft tire, and then 3 and 4 Nuco and Comer on the mediums. And D-Goat's on the mediums as well.
And D-Goat. He feels like he is the GOAT. I'd imagine that's how it comes across. He's the
He,
GOAT. So Ghosted down in the P8, still pumping in 113s, which is the fastest lap so far, with Lujan of 113.2, so his times are pretty there. He looks like he's getting a little bit closer to the GOAT now, obviously on the faster compound tyre, but he's definitely giving it his best shot as it stands. Keckwood's down there in P7 on the medium tyres. Looking pretty comfortable either way.
yeah, big gaps in front and behind Keckwood there in P7. Just kind of running his own race. He was within, like, much closer of Ghosted there, though, so I wonder what happened. Maybe offset pit windows, perhaps. That's a big gap. And we got Pixel down here as well. Also, pretty big gaps in between him from in front and behind him. So he's kind of just doing well to run his own race right now on the medium tire. And this is the tire he started on, so Pixel is still yet to pit for soft tires.
Good little battle closing up here for P4, 5 and 6. We've got Commod, Digo and Ghosted all battling it out now. Ghosted his best shot, try and get in front of these two whilst he's on the faster compound tyres. He's on the softs and the two in front of him both on the mediums, so let's see what Ghosted can do here.
And a battle
Still got
for
plenty
P9,
of overtake left.
with Boita and BB8.
Yes indeed, yes. One on the mediums, one on the softs. Obviously Boita on the mediums, actually slowly catching DB8 as well. And DB8 is on soft compound, so...
This is where the soft will have all the advantage on the track. These low speed corners where the acceleration out of the corner is going to make the biggest difference between the compounds.
Definitely. Ghosted just went for the overtake on the GOAT down the main straight into the quick chicane. He's managed to take that P5 position, and he's got Comma in sight, and he's going for the P4 position right now on the inside of T3. He's purpling, 2 temps up, and he's got that P4 position, so excellent work there. Two positions taken in the matter of 3 corners, so nice and quick there, Ghosted on a fast lap too. Obviously on the faster compound tyre, compete, ahead of Comma and DeGoat, both on the mediums, but still he made the most of those soft compounds, used a bit of overtake, but still got plenty in the bank, so excellent work there. 2 overtakes in a matter of a few corners, so...
Yeah, those were good moves, and you want to make those moves decisively around this track. If you get caught up battling wheel to wheel, it can take place over several laps. So good on him to get those done quickly, and now he's in clean air with the better tire. And those tires are probably in their prime window right now.
Yeah, he was purpling halfway round, but just finished half a second short of the fastest lap, but I'm sure he'd be still happy with the previous lap, taking 2 positions, so keep it going, Ghosted, well done. White's out in P1, just slowly every time I look, he's just going another few tenths of a second further ahead of Lujan, both in the same compound tyres, but looks like his tyres are slightly being managed just that tad little bit better than Lujan at the moment, so that's always going to help him as well.
Right. Yeah, the tires are in a similar place right now, but Illusion having used about 50% of his overtake and Whiteout only using 25% of his overtake. If they end up close to each other by the end of the race, that might just be the difference maker.
Yeah, so looking pretty comfortable at the moment. White House at the moment. So let's see what the next 25 laps brings us. A few more pit strategies to be taken. Nuko's drifting around T3 just slightly, so that's not going to help his tyres too much, but he managed to stay on the track and not cause any damage to his vehicle, so I'm sure he'll accept that. So Comma and D-Goat still neck and neck with each other, trying to stay as close to Ghosted as possible, obviously on the medium tyres compared to Ghosted. Keeping as close as possible. Doing a good job between them guys. Keckwood up in the P7, cruising around. No pressure from front or behind at the moment, but putting comfortable, consistent laps of 1:14s as it stands in the medium tyres. Even DB8 in P8, he's put a fastest lap in by himself, 1:13.4, so not too far behind the fastest guy. So the lap times and the pace are there. It's just the consistency. They're doing a good job.
The Team Mugen drivers are great drivers. I'm sure they're going to have a really strong result at some point here in the season, because this hasn't been representative so far, their results.
Looks like Lucian has just overtaken Breda, overlapped him.
We're a little over halfway through this race, and we have some people being lapped, but that is kind of the nature of this circuit. When something happens, it makes a big difference. It's a pretty short lap around this track.
It is indeed. Minute 13 laps. That's why we've got 53 laps here today. Sounds more than what it is, but like I said, short laps, so it doesn't take as long as you might think. But every time I've just come back to Whiteout again, and he's managed to gain himself another half a second within the last lap, so looks pretty comfortable out there, Whiteout in P1.
Yeah, Whiteout seemingly the class of the field today, just on pure pace, having an advantage.
So I'd imagine the top two, they're yet to go on the mediums, is that correct? Have they both been soft so far?
Yep, so for the top two, soft has been their stints. And so both of these guys are going to need to pit at least one more time to take a medium tire before the end of the race.
Yes. And obviously Nuko being in P3, still within the 6-second mark of Lucian. In the medium tyres taken already, so by the time he gets back out on the softs, that gap could be closed up to a reasonable, what's the word? Closeness to Lucian again, so it could end up a nice little battle here for P2.
Definitely.
We'll keep a close eye on that one.
Just checking in on Ghosted's progress, and behind him we've got Comer and D-Goats really close to each other, both on the same compound here. These two, this is a great matchup between these two.
Comer and Ghosted, yeah?
Comer and D-Goat behind. The battle for P5.
Yeah, but I think P4's on the cards for both of them too, obviously being on the medium tyres. Ghosted's doing a fantastic job in the soft tyres, got himself up to P4, but as I said, with Luciano and Nuco being on the different compounds, those times are still pretty close together, so after the final stint, their final tyre swap change, obviously the guys behind will be on a faster compound, so obviously the time will close and obviously improve, so those positions could be up for grabs for sure.
Absolutely, yeah. And where there's a tire difference right here, especially for people like Ghosted, he's going to want to just build as big of a gap he possibly can on this stint and hope that the two cars behind him battle it out and gain him even bigger gap by the time he goes into the pits. And I think that's the same kind of thinking with Illusion, is to just get the track position early so that when he's on mediums for the final stint, even if he has challengers behind him with a faster compound, he'll at least have the luxury of being able to defend that position.
Yeah, so D-Goat and Comma coming around the last corner of the main straight. D-Goat looks like he's just about within toe range here. Whether you can get any closer to him, he's not using any more overtake. He's only got a little bit left. It doesn't look like he's actually going to catch him to the next corner anyway. Maybe I was thinking there was a possible overtake there, but I think Comma got a great exit out of the last corner, so managed to hold on to that P5 as it stands, but definitely getting a little bit closer, D-Goat, that's for sure.
Exactly. An excellent exit out of the final corner gave him just enough of a gap for the final straight so that D-Goats was not in a slipstream. And had they been at the same gap they have been, I think D-Goats would have had a really good chance of overtaking him into turn one there.
Not too much to talk about at the back of the grid here, all spaced out here as it stands. Pixel obviously on soft tyres, and the rest of them seem to be, well, besides Bredders on the soft actually, but Flare and Aces 8.8 seconds behind Pixel in the slower compound tyres, so I imagine he's going to finish off in the softs. Whether he's going to have to pit again, oh yeah, I would have thought so. Yeah, fuel won't probably last either, so so still possible changes at the back end there, but reasonably spaced out, so nothing to see too much there between those guys. D-Ghost has just entered the pits now.
Yeah, so as you said too, Pixel is pitted finally for his soft tire, so he'll be running the rest of the race on soft tires, and this is now his time in the race to try to make up all the lost ground from doing that first long run on the medium. And Pixel also running a special helmet for this race, the green on it, for Brazil, designed by Artura.
Oh, very nice, very nice. So D-Goat's come out on the soft tyres now, so let's see what times he can put in. See if he can catch up. He's obviously pitted before Comma and Ghosted has, so he's gone for softs first. Get them nicely warmed up. Comma has still got half wear on his tyres, on his mediums, and whether he's going to decide to pit now or make them last a bit longer, we shall see. He's just coming up down the main straight.
Yeah, DBA.
And he's entered the pits.
And DBA coming out of the pits as well, just behind Whiteout. So Whiteout getting all the luck in the world as far as when these cars are coming out of the pits. As Whiteout has not seen a single obstruction or anything to slow his race down whatsoever. Comer in the pits now as well.
Yeah, the Goat pitted early, obviously a lap earlier, and he's come out much further than Comer, both of the soft tyres, so he's, yeah, big undercut there from D-Goat, so excellent timing there. Keckwood now at the P5.
corner, having lost a second position as well. Both Porsches are in front of him now.
So Lujan's come on into the pits now. Nuko got within 5 seconds of him on those medium tyres. They've both pitted. They've both gone into pits now. So there's going to be a swap here. Lujan will be going on to the medium tyres and Nuko into the softs. Within 5-second range of each other. So there's a great battle here brewing between these two. Lujan excellent at defending as well. So he done a great job in the last round. Holding off. I think he won the race, didn't he? He held off Whiteout for a long stint.
Yeah, for the better part of the entire race, held off Whiteout to win at the very last corner.
So the time difference between Lujan and Nuko still at the same 4.8 seconds, or was. Looks like it's just slightly come down after that first corner. Obviously Lujan in the mediums now, so Nuko's going to give it everything he's got to try and get that P3 position, possibly P2, because Ghosted is going to have to pit. His soft tyres are definitely getting to that worn risky stage here, so whether he started off with mediums, not 100% sure. He might have to be going on the mediums now. He looks like he's just, nope, he's skipped the pit. He's going to go out for another lap. Whiteout is in the pit now. Looks pretty comfortable anyway. So short-lived there. Looks like Ghosted is coming out in the P1. Obviously still yet to pit.
Yeah,
but he
not
can screenshot that moment.
But I'm sure it's always a good time to see yourself in P1 regardless.
Yeah, definitely. Screenshot it whilst you can.
Yeah, exactly.
Oof, there we go. So he nearly just
slip.
lost it on that corner.
Yeah, so Whiteout coming out in P2, but still in front of his net rivals here, being Illusion and Nuko, with about the same gap as he went in with, maybe even a little more. And as we see behind Illusion, the gap to Nuko is already coming down. It's already been cut in half.
Of course. Well, with Ghosted obviously staying out here, teammate of Lujan, if he can hold up Whiteout and slow him down slightly, that's obviously great teamwork. That might be the way forward for him. So if he can oh no, he's gone and entered the pits now, so just about time really. His tyres were starting to become unmanageable, so not worth taking any further risks there.
Yeah,
it might be a slight little tactic there with teammates, trying to hold off Whiteout as much as he can, slow him down a little bit, but not to be.
Yeah, just like you said, the tires were at the very end of their life. It would have been really hard to manage, but I still think that's probably a missed opportunity for them, because that was the only thing that could have slowed Whiteout down this race at all, was that one chance right there. Everything else has just gone perfectly for Whiteout, gaps-wise.
Yeah, well, so now it's obviously getting a lot closer than we thought now. So Nuko pumped in the fastest lap so far with 1:13.1. He is now within 1.6 seconds of Lujan. So a lot of work for Lujan to do here now. It looks inevitable that Nuko is going to take this P2 position, but we shall see.
Yeah, and I mean, Illusion is excellent at defense, but this is a pretty tremendous pace difference between these two compounds here. It might not be enough. I'll just take a look down the order real quick to see who we got close to each other. We got D-Goats closing in on Ghosted here.
Yeah, again, so D-Goat is on the softs and Ghosted is on the medium, so it's pretty inevitable that these positions will change. Exactly what we thought. Same with Comma, but looks like he's made a mistake, because he's now 14 seconds behind D-Goat, so he's obviously had some sort of incident there. Wouldn't have thought he would have made up 14 seconds in the last couple of laps, so we missed that one.
Indeed, and so Nuko already within a second of Illusion now, and so I'm just going to go on board with Nuko in that gold Toyota and see him close in on Illusion.
Yeah, it's the same. So it's the same battle, obviously, with Lujan and Nuko in opposite tyres there. Nuko obviously on the better compound, and inevitable is it's going to be a position change there, I'm pretty sure. And the same with D-Goat and Ghosted. D-Goat is now right on the tail in tow range, coming up the last corner onto the main straight there. So we'll see whether he can make that overtake as it stands.
Nuko with another fastest lap as he's into the 12s. He's all over that overtake button and in the slipstream of Illusion, trying to make a move right here into turn 4. Who's going to give what line? Illusion wants the inside. Bit of contact. They both managed to stay in the track limit somehow.
Definitely.
Neither one
scary.
backed out. Wheel to wheel again through the fast part. Another bit of contact there. That might be a track limit. Oh my. Hey, this is some racing.
He wasn't giving up that. He was not giving that position up that easy, but Nuko managed to get round and get into that P2 position in the end. So excellent there. Well held, Nuko. Unfortunate for Lujan there. He defended as hard as he possibly could.
Oh no!
Oh, and Lujan is just
if you can manage to recover nicely.
Overspun.
Oh,
what a shame that is.
That could have been way worse. He managed to keep the nose pointing straight. He got back onto the road, and he lost a ton of time, but he lost no net positions. With every car that you saw pass him was left.
Yes. And obviously no damage caused to his car besides maybe a little bit of tyre wear, but...
Tyre wear and pride.
Yeah. Well, it was pretty inevitable that P3 was going to be his position after Nuko finally overtook him. So the fact that he hasn't lost any further time or positions, then not too bad. But now we've got D-Goat on the tail of Ghosted, trying to do the same scenario as Nuko and Lujan.
Yeah. And so you would think too, if when you're trying to make your strategy, that if you got the exact amount of laps that you want to run on each tire, that it wouldn't make too big of a difference what order you do those tires in. But I believe that that is actually the entire difference maker with the strategy here. Personally, I wouldn't want to end the race on the medium tire. That's what I did in my race, and if I could do it over again, I would not have ended the race on the mediums.
No, definitely puts you on the back foot. You obviously need to further ahead before wanting to be on the mediums to finish off with, but obviously with the times close within that 5-second range and having to swap onto the slower compound tyres with good 10-15 laps left to go, it's pretty inevitable that you're not going to hold that position. And that's exactly what's happened.
Yeah, exactly. Just an excellent battle between Illusion and Nuko, but as you can see, they were not backing out. Neither of them wanted to give that up, but Illusion being on the mediums, just pushing as hard as he can. He pushed a little too hard for those mediums to tolerate. Still really close between D-Goat here and Ghosted. They're right within about range. It looks like maybe just outside of the slipstream on the main straight. And D-Goat's already used all of his overtake up, so he won't be able to benefit from that.
Do you know what's interesting though, is looking at Whiteout is actually, as time's come down, he's only 7.5 seconds, or less than that, nearly 7 seconds ahead of Nuko, and he's in the medium tyres with Nuko absolutely flying with the fastest lap with a 112.7, and he's gaining and gaining and gaining. We've got 10 laps left, B23, 10 laps left. There's a great possibility that there might be a position change for P1. The rate at Nuko is going at this current time, that time is coming down.
Indeed, at this rate, I do believe he will catch him with maybe 1 to 3 laps remaining, depending on if this rate holds. Because from my testing and observations, as I said before, the medium tire is about 1.5 up to 2 seconds per lap slower than the soft is. And that gap just steadily coming down.
Definitely, he's gaining just over a second a lap in the last 2 laps, and half a second in the 3 laps with White out. Oh, that's right. He was in a bit of traffic there, but looks like he's got past that blue flag car, so no issues there.
Indeed. So Nuco definitely the man to watch for the end of the race. I'm just checking in on the fight for P4 here, and it looks like the gaps are about maintained, even though Egots has the tire advantage over Ghosted. He is just right in that perfect range where he's going to get hit with all the dirty air, especially sector 2 and 3. It's hard to close the gap when you're in dirty air.
Yeah, 100%. I say he was nearly within half a second of Ghosted, and every time he gets close there, he seems to have a slight little wobble, and that's obviously the dirty air that you're talking about there, and he's drifted back by another half a second now, so it's back to 1.2 seconds clear. So Ghosted doing a fantastic race here in those medium tyres.
And still with a little bit of overtake himself, so if that gap does get closed by the end of the race, he'll have a little bit of extra help in defending.
Indeed. Right, so Breda in last position is getting that little bit closer to Flair and Aces as well, so good little race between them two at the back of the grid there. Whitehouse time is now down to 5.4 seconds with about 7.5, 8 laps left. So it's not quite coming down as fast as I thought it was going to be from the previous 3 laps. Obviously the tyres are 25% in, I should say, on the fronts anyway of Nuco, so obviously the previous laps with those fresh softs, he was getting very close and burning that time down, but Whitehouse just about maintaining it, so it could get down to the wire with these guys, but Whitehouse still got over 50% of his overtake left as well, so that's definitely going to help him.
Yeah, I was going to say too, you got to wonder if with this much overtake left, if he's going to try to go for a fast lap, but he's on the medium, so he won't be able to get down there. Oh, and a new fastest lap by only a few hundredths of a second being Kekwed with a 12.75.
Excellent lap there, Kekwed. Great work.
Yeah, whoever is ending this race on the softs, as long as they have enough overtake, they might want to go for that fastest lap. That's an extra point.
So yeah, you can see why Whiteout has just maintained that gap just a little bit with that overtake. He just keeps pumping the overtake button. He's managed to get him back down in the last 2 laps to low 14s, which is just about helping him there. Nuco still in the 113s, low 113s, so nice and consistent in those soft tyres from Nuco, and that's why the gap is now down to 4.3 seconds, so 5 more laps left.
Yeah, Whiteout is in quite a luxurious position here, having saved all that overtake, because now as he watches that gap come down, he can just use the overtake in the exact right parts of the track to try to recover the pace gap. And he's doing a great job so far, as he's on it a little bit, but not too much. He feels comfortable at this gap right now, I think.
Oh, Brother's just lost that. I don't know whether he hampered Lugion there at all, but Ghosted is right on the tail of Lugion now. both in the
Keep an
medium
eye
tyre
on
compounds
this.
as well. So Lugion is definitely had a couple of wobbles there. Not 100% sure what happened, but he is now under pressure from Ghosted for that podium position here. Ghosted doing a
Definitely.
fantastic job holding off D-Goats, who's in the soft tyres as well, so he's racing very hard in those mediums. Ghosted, he wants that P3 position now.
Yeah, these drivers, they are ambitious. You got to wonder if they're going to prioritize their own race or the team race.
That is true.
Because for the team, if they both finish in these positions, or if Ghosta gets the overtake, the team gets the exact same amount of points regardless. So you got to wonder if they're going to even want to risk it. Especially given that Illusion is currently P1 in the Drivers' Championship. And so I would think they'd want him to get more points if the team points are going to be the same regardless.
Who gets to decide that?
Right, exactly. Well, that's for them to work out on track here. We'll see what happens.
Definitely. A fantastic work there. The Goats is getting that a little bit closer now, though. Obviously, Ghosted and Lugion either battling it out with each other or trying to maintain their. Oh, D-Ghost is just back end's just slightly gone. He's just lost a bit of time on the main straight, so that's going to hurt him massively there. He was right in the toe position as well, so that's a big blow for D-Ghost. So he's got some mega work to do.
So that frees up Ghosted too to not have to worry about defending for his teammates. So maybe now that might open him up to maybe look for that position.
Yeah, he's just had a little wobble on that on the little chicane there as well, coming down the hill, but he's managed to semi-maintain that. I was a bit worried for him for a second. I thought he was pushing too hard there, but let's see what's going to happen between these teammates here. They're just going to stay in P3 and P4 between them both, as we suggested. Nuko's now within range of 2.6 seconds with 3 laps remaining. Just get him much tighter, much closer between these two.
Yeah, and Whiteout still having over half of his overtake left. I don't think there's going to be enough time for Nuko to close that up.
No, I think his soft tyres are getting to that danger zone level, nearly.
And it's right at this point now,
he's not going to be wanting to push them to the limit to gain that 2.5 seconds as it stands, but we shall see.
Exactly, and so the rate of wear at this point, they're just about at the drop-off phase, and so the rate at which that gap was coming down is definitely going to slow down a bit, just as the race is coming to its conclusion. And we got Pixel here trying to battle with DB8 for P9. And there is a compound difference between them, so Pixel with the advantage. Let me just make sure I'm not missing anything else real quick, and then I'll return to that. Okay, so back to the battle for P9. Pixel already used up all of his overtake. Pixel with a decent run here. It looks like he does have the slipstream coming down the straight, but not enough room to close up before the twisty section begins. Oh, and good opportunity now. Still not quite enough room to get side by side before the corner shows up. DBA taking a little bit too much curve there, it looked like.
Yeah, just looking down the grid myself here. Yeah, so Pixel and DB8 having their own little battle here. Getting a little bit closer. He is on, like you said, he is on the soft tyres, so he's right in range now. If he can stay with DB8 and get a good exit on this final corner of this lap.
Yeah, this
Could
is
be
the
pretty
crucial
inevitable.
corner.
The overtake is going to happen.
Oh, and a slip from BB-8. This is a Pixel's opportunity. Because he's right in that slipstream.
Yeah, it's getting closer now. He's defending well DB8 into that corner. He's just about managed to hold it. He's blocking off the quick exit there.
Aggressive battling between these two. Oof. And the Pixel gets the position.
He's held up. And Whiteout, as you said, he's maintaining that 2.5 second position now, using a bit of overtake, so it looks pretty comfortable there as it stands. 2.5 seconds clear with plenty of overtake left. Fantastic racing from Nuco.
And the gap between the two EXO teammates in P3 and 4 is opening up a bit as well, so there doesn't seem to be a threat there.
No, just slightly spaced out now between most of them. Don't think anybody wants to take any further risks and accept the positions that they've got there. Should have a racer of the day. Official racer of the day.
If I were to pick one, I would say Nuco, probably. Nuco just having a really solid race, managing to fight back and reclaim his P2, and then even looking like he had a chance to, if the race was longer, probably close that gap down and challenge for the win.
Yeah, I would say he's done a pretty fantastic job. Maybe if he saved his overtake a little bit longer, then being in that position, he might have had a chance to fight for that P1 position. But as you can see, the time is just slowly drifting away from him now. But coming round the final corner onto the main straight of the final lap of Interlagos, we've got Whiteout in P1, just about to cross the checkered flag and wins the race. So excellent work there, Whiteout.
Indeed, it'd also be hard to argue against Whiteout for driver of the day, as he just started on pole, led every single lap, pulled that gap even bigger and bigger throughout the race, and just didn't put a single foot wrong the whole time.
100%, no, I completely agree.
Here comes the two EXO teammates in the Aston Martins, P3 and P4, Illusion and Ghosted. Very solid race from them. Excellent undercut from Illusion in the middle of the race. E-Goat's P5 with some weird lag on the finish line there. Keck in P7. We got Boita still on the lead, lap coming around to be the final racer to cross the line on the lead lap.
So there we have it, everybody. Fantastic race there, 53 laps at Interlagos, and your winner, which we'll read out the racing results once they've all come in officially and we bring up the page. But an excellent day there of racing, as you can see. So as before, if you're new to the channel, please like and subscribe, and I hope you enjoyed the race. But B23 in the meantime, I'm sure you're going to read out the official racing results for us.
Surely. So, yeah, big congrats to Whiteout in P1 from pole position. He is your race winner today. P2 is Nuco, the Frenchman in the gold Toyota, and P3, finishing off your podium, is Illusion in the EXO AMR. And then we have Ghosted, D-Goats, Comer, Kekwed, Boita. And then we have our final finishers here being Pixel, DB8, Flaring Aces, Ed Bretta, and Sikwema.
Well, there we go. Congratulations, P1, 2, and 3. Whiteout, Nuka, and Lujan. But don't forget Kekwood from Norway with the fastest lap with a 1:12.7. So super work there from you. Nice fast lap.
Absolutely. And that is going to contribute to the very close fight, both in the drivers and the constructors, especially that fastest lap helping out Acura in the constructors. Yeah, a lot of the sentiment in the comments here reflecting my experience with the mediums as well, that they were horrible around this track.
Yeah, so I'm sure Kamazuri, the racing steward, is completely relieved. No major incidences to have to call, so that was a fantastic race all round. Everybody got round pretty damn good, and was no red flags in tension or any foul play. So nice fast racing from all these guys. So congratulations once again.
Indeed, and just the fact that you had a clean race around Interlagos is that much more impressive. This is a very difficult track to keep it clean on with that many cars. Excellent work from everyone. Excellent battles, especially that battle between Nuco and Illusion. That was edge of your seat type stuff there.
Yeah, definitely. Good team racing between obviously Lujan and Ghosted to finish off there, P3 and P4. Yeah, no, it was all good all round. So fantastic, great watch, and great one to commentate on too. So thanks again. Do you know what the round 5 is at all, B23?
Yeah, so
where are we at next week?
Next week we are going to return to this stream, the SWT class, and we're going to be at Sardinia, an original Gran Turismo circuit.
Is that the road track?
Yeah, Sardinia layout A, I believe, and it is a road track. It has very, very close walls and just super tricky, weird, deceptive corners, walls right next to them. So anyone goes off there probably will be some damage. I'm looking forward to an exciting race there as well.
Yeah, so join us again next week for Tier 2 start of round 5 at Sardinia road track. Same time, same day. So that's enough for me, but personally, congratulations to you all once again, and thank you B23 for co-commentating with us and myself on the GPL stream, and yeah, not much more I can say from that.
Yeah, absolutely. It was a great race. Same time, same place. Make sure you subscribe to this channel so that you can get that live stream for the next week and the following week for the top class once again. And I'll be posting the winner graphic to our Instagram as well, so be sure to go follow that at Grand Prestige League on Instagram. And we'll see you guys next week.